Hello and welcome to Tales for Life. In each episode of this podcast, we'll explore a folk or fairy tale from a different culture or region and discover the life lessons, values, and morals they offer that we can use today. Join me on the journey through the magical and meaningful world of folk and fairy tales. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Tales for Life, the podcast that journeys through life one tale at a time. Today we'll be using a tale from Russia that has a universal message for all of us about getting out of the planning phase and into the acting phase. And that's why I've called this episode, Don't Talk About What You're Going to Do, Do It. Not too many episodes ago, air castles were the topic. This is what happens when we get stuck dreaming, or daydreaming, about how things are going to be. That is, we build castles in the air. The problem with that is that, well, unless you're a cloud, you can't live in the air. Today's episode assumes we've gotten past that. We're in the action phase, or almost. Like air castles, some of us tend to get caught up in the moment before doing. We know what we want to do and how we're going to do it, but we just can't seem to hit that go button, at least until we've told everyone we're going to do it. And that can be one of the greatest dangers. Because when you start telling others what you're going to do, you can run into problems. They'll tell you why you're not the right person to do it, or that they have a better way than the way you've already mapped out. From there, things can go from good to bad to worse. A wonderful story that illustrates this point perfectly is a Russian children's tale, which found its way into English language print near the turn of the 20th century. It's titled simply, The Hungry Wolf. There was once a wolf, and he got very hungry, and so he went to have a look to see what he could find for dinner. After a bit, he saw a ram feeding in a meadow, so he went up to him and said, Mr. Ram, I am going to eat you." But the ram answered, "Who are you, I should like to know, that you mean to eat me?" "I'm a wolf, and I'm looking for a good dinner," said the wolf. "What sort of a wolf do you fancy you are?" answered the ram. "You're not a wolf, you're a dog." "No, I'm not a dog," said he. "I'm a wolf." "Well then," answered the ram, "if you're a wolf, stand at the bottom of the hill and open your jaws wide. Then I'll run down the hill and jump straight into your mouth." "All right," said the wolf. So he stood at the bottom of the hill and opened his mouth wide while the ram climbed to the top of the hill. Then he ran down the hill very fast and hit the wolf with his horns as hard as he could. The wolf rolled over, knocked senseless with the blow, while the ram ran off home. And there lay the wolf, till at last he came to himself again with all his bones aching. "Well, what a fool I must have been," thought he. "Who ever saw a ram jump into one's mouth of his own free will?" Then he went on further, just as hungry as ever, and after a bit he saw a horse walking in a meadow nibbling the grass. So he went up to him and said, Mr. Horse, I'm going to eat you." But the horse answered, "Who are you, I should like to know, that you mean to eat me?" "I'm a wolf." "You think again," answered the horse. "You're only a dog." "No, I'm not a dog," said he. "I'm a wolf." "Oh, if you are sure you're a wolf, it's all right. Only I'm not very fat yet, so you'd better begin on my tail, and meanwhile I'll be munching some more grass and get a little fuller." So the wolf went up to him from behind and was just going to get to work on his tail when the horse let out at him as hard as he could. And the wolf rolled over while the horse ran off. And there sat the wolf, and he thought, "Well, wasn't I a fool? Wasn't I a noodle? Who ever heard of anyone starting to eat a horse by the tail?" And so he wandered on further, when after a bit he saw a pig coming towards him, So when he got to him, he said, Mr. Pig, I'm going to eat you." But the pig answered, "Who are you, I should like to know, that you mean to eat me? I'm a wolf." "You're a queer sort of wolf," answered the pig. "You're only a dog." "No, I'm not a dog," said he. "I'm a wolf." "Oh, that's all right then," answered the pig. "You just sit down on my back. I'll give you a ride, and then you can eat me." So the wolf sat down on the pig's back, when lo and behold, the pig carried him straight into the village, and all the dogs ran out, made a dash for the wolf, and began to harass him. And they harassed him so much, it was all he could do to tear himself away and run off back into the forest. It's easy to dismiss this as just a tale for children, but that misses the point entirely. The fact that it's told to children speaks to its importance. The principles in here are ones that the tellers want instilled in children as they grow, and that makes them worth keeping in mind for us as well. And there are two of them. First, when you have a plan of action and tell others about it, you're bound to get pushback. I'm not talking about seeking advice or a second opinion, but those people who hear what you are about to do and tell you not only that you aren't the right person to do it, but that the best way to do it is the way they say. And you can see how that goes. This is not an anti-advice comment. Yes, absolutely, get advice, talk to mentors, seek guidance. But once you've decided what you want to do, stop telling others about it. At best, you'll be ignored. At worst, well, getting kicked by a horse or butted by a ram just begins to tell the story. And second, start doing it. A wolf is perfectly capable of taking down a ram, pig, or even a horse on its own. The wolf's hesitation to act, to do, was the reason he failed. Had he just done what he had set out to do, find and eat lunch, not only would he have succeeded, he would have succeeded the first time and with no bumps and bruises. A full belly and success for simply acting on your plans versus getting knocked around and coming up empty. I know which one I'd prefer. How about you? Are you ready to get it done? Be like the ram, the horse, and the pig, not the wolf, all of whom avoided being eaten by putting their plans into action. You'll be glad you did, and I'll be glad for you too.